Hey, so where are you guys holding your tampon string so you don't piss on it? Like, maybe I'm just stupid. I did learn embarrassingly late that I was putting them in incorrectly. It just seems like no matter which side I'm pulling it to, I'm pissing on it, and then my piss is being reabsorbed by it, and I'm just hanging out with a piss-filled tampon.
Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Millennial Smark, and I'm bringing you the slop, the whole slop, and nothing but the slop. MVP has some choice words for Triple H again. Gigi Dolan makes a complete ass out of herself, if you ask me, by essentially suggesting that the amount of money that a person makes should be based off of what exactly? We'll get into that. Apparently, Jim Cornette has some choice words as well for this whole post that's going viral within the IWC, stemming off of the women and their stupid ass blood and gush match last night. And Nikki Bella wants to essentially have the world, while at the same time, being Nikki Bella, and that can never work out well for anybody. Timestamps are located down in the description box below, also located in the pinned comment section. Let's get into the video. Right, so Cultaholic ended up transcribing this. This is stemming off of, I don't know if this is an interview or if it's a podcast. The channel, I guess you can say that. I don't know if it's a channel. They're called Adventure Gamers. I try to find some videos around the interwebs because I feel like it was a lot easier to convey the tone of what MVP was saying, but I couldn't find anything. But just shout out to those guys. It was transcribed by Cultaholic, or I don't know, reprinted. MVP doubles down on his view that Triple H is, and I quote, a coward and a liar. And I quote, "I've said before, I call Triple H a coward and a liar. Let's put it like this. If you really want to, you can go to YouTube and you can look up the interviews of various wrestlers through the years of what their opinion is of the man. Interviews of guys that were his friends, what they had to say about the guy. I could think of more guys that dislike him than I could think of guys that do like him. And people say MVP's salty or MVP's bitter. Like, no, I have personal issues with the dude stemming from professional stuff, but just the things that he does. I guess they meant not just stemming from the professional stuff, but it's cool, whatever. How he carries himself, I just don't have respect for the guy. The newer generation, they don't know that guy yet. So the one of those that came up underneath him in NXT, Grammar, they think he's brilliant. And a lot of them should for the hand he's had in their career. But the guys that had to work with him back in the day will tell you a different story almost overwhelmingly. And so it's not just me saying it. There's guys who are way up the totem pole than me that are telling you that this guy's no bueno. Obviously me and no good. Let's look at some of the replies before I actually give my take on this situation, because I do have my own position. I think the title might have just spoken for itself. But some of the comments. As a grown man, especially someone coming from the era MVP comes from, either say what you really want to say or handle it personally. The internet is really turning the OGs into lames. Let's check out this other comment right here. This one says, maybe it's becoming a father, being a man in his 50s and surviving a serious health issue can't change a man's ways. I was prick when I was younger. Having children changed my entire perspective on life and made me a better person. I mean, it should have helped you with your fucking English. Holy shit. What is going on today with people typing like they were born out of goddamn caves? This one says, can this man let it go? You're fucking 50. Yeah. So that's what everybody's opinions on in regards to this whole situation. Hey, if you ask me, I don't know MVP's, I don't know what kind of wreck he has with the man. I don't know from a personal standpoint where this is all stemming off of. Now, I kind of have a feeling, just based off of the context that I've done videos on MVP and Triple H's relationship in the past. And from the majority of it, for some of you guys who aren't aware, it's more so stemming off of the stuff that happened with the Hurt Business and how they were booked in WWE. From the sounds of it, I don't know what exactly was promised, but it sounds like there were a couple of promises made from Triple H to MVP that were not upheld, right? That were not taken to its natural conclusion and what MVP probably looked at and assumed that was going to be the case, right? He probably looked at Vince McMahon and said to himself, like, yeah, I expect Vince McMahon to be this kind of guy, but you being one of the boys, you being able to be in the position that I was in at one time, and now you having an upper echelon position, you should be able to understand where I'm coming from if you're going to go out of your way to make these promises. And understandably, from my perspective, from my point of view, understandably say to myself, well, you are one of the boys, you're going to be able to hold onto your promise and actually follow through with it. I get all MVP's gripes if it's stemming off of that issue, right? Completely understand. I get it. The problem is, though, MVP, that was 5 years ago, homie. Now, again, maybe it could be something a little bit more deeper, you know? Maybe it could be something that happened in the late 2000s, right? It could be something that was happening during his time on SmackDown in 2008. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to tell you, right? But what I can tell you is I know for a fact that that is one of the issues. The Hurt Business stuff. He has talked about this in the past. But like I said, strictly focusing on that, that was 5 years ago. I can't tell a grown man how to act. I, myself personally, can't go to MVP and tell him to get over it. I don't know what it does to this man as far as what decision Triple H made that has had him this hostile for this longest period of time. I mean, this man has gone out of his way to call Triple H a racist. This man has gone out of his way to essentially say that whenever Triple H wants to handle this, we can handle this. That one comment that actually insinuated that Triple H and him should handle biz, or that MVP should be a man and step up to Triple H's face. MVP said that in the past already. He said that. He has made note in one of his other videos that if he has a problem, and he was obviously talking about Triple H, right? If he has a problem, he's going to say it to your face. He's going to go to your face after saying it to your face, and he wants to know what's going to happen afterwards.
I'm not going to deny I said it. I'm going to say, yes, I said that. Now what? Would you like to talk further? Like, where do we go from here? If I say something about you and you come and ask me about it, I'm not going to deny that I said it.
You ask me, I think that's somewhat of a vague threat. So it's not as if this man isn't about that. At least in his own words, that's how far he's willing to take it with how angry he is. But it was 5 years ago. I got to say this once again. I want to believe that there is nothing that Triple H could have done, in my opinion, that has warranted this type of hatred and this kind of disrespect for as long as MVP has harbored it, right? Now, if you went after his family, I completely understand. In fact, I'd probably look at you crazy if you went to step up to him like that. If Triple H somehow, someway got you fired initially back in 2010, I get that. Completely understand that. Weird because you're back in 2019 or 2020, but if that's the case, I get it. I understand. It doesn't really seem like that, though. It seems like promises were broken. Is promises being broken to the degree where you have to harbor this kind of animosity, to the degree where you have to slander a man's name? I don't think it is. I think it's crazy. I think it's crazy, especially for a brother in his 50s to be acting like this. It's whole tendencies. It really is. You can say whatever you want. It's whole tendencies. I'll put it to you this way. If for anything else, MVP, I'll say it like this. The only people who are discussing this situation right now are people like me, people like you, and people who are listening to people like me talk about people like you. You know who ain't hearing this right now? Triple H. Triple H. Dude handling his business. Dude handling his money. Now, I get all these kind of responses from most people. Oh, the guy that you're talking about is doing better than you. Oh, the guy that you're going out of your way to bury or say this about them or whatever is doing better than you. Hey, you see what I'm doing right now? This right here is my job. This is my hobby. This is what I do. All right, I'm a commentary channel. This is what I do. I talk about people within professional wrestling. Is that MVP's job? I don't think so. I think his job is to be a wrestler. I think his job is to be probably, I don't know, someone who's influential within the locker room. Is that in telling him talking about Triple H in this manner and still harboring these feelings? I don't know. I don't believe so. I don't believe so. Hey, who am I? Like I said, I don't know Buddy's personal grievances in regards to Triple H. All I can say is I think it's crazy to be this hung up on a situation to the degree where you have to slander a man's name on a consistent basis because of a disagreement that happened back in COVID times. But hey, that's just my opinion. I'll let you guys talk about it amongst each other in the comment section. All I'm saying is, I think it's whole tendencies. All I'm saying is, I think you sound like a female right now talking like this and being so hung up on it. I mean, you sound like a female who legitimately can't get over a nigga that dumped her. That's what you sound like right now. Am I wrong or am I wrong? Most people will probably say I'm wrong, but that's because you're dick riders. But with that being said, going on to the next topic. I'm not gonna lie to you, this topic right here really triggered the fuck out of me. Because I'm so sick and tired. I can't stress this enough, bro. I'm so sick and tired of people actually believing that their just worth is more important than what another person has to do in order to get on with life. Like, your self-worth and what you feel you're entitled to is not more important than what the next person is doing in order to get by. I'm so sick and tired of the entitlement. I'm sick and tired of the entitlement. Here, check it out. Link is down in the description box below. Priscilla Kelly, formerly known as Gigi Dolan, has revealed that there are WWE NXT contracts starting as low as $30,000 a year. And I quote, "A lot of fans for some reason think that if you work in WWE, you're a millionaire. You live in a mansion. You're driving a Benz. You've got it made. That's not the case. In NXT, there's contracts as low as $30,000 a year," which obviously got a big response from a lot of people, which I think is so dumb. Look at this. This person says, "Just imagine Io Sky started out in NXT with a salary like that." Because apparently he can't read and he thinks that all the wrestlers start in NXT at $30,000. Apparently, this person says, "Damn, working in McDonald's pays more." I mean, I will hope so, based off what your job title is. Any job that pays you more based off of the work and effort and time you put into that should probably pay more than the next person's one step above and apprenticeship, like internship, damn it. Like, what the fuck? This person says, "Lots of smarks trying to rage bait in the comment section without realizing NXT is WWE's third brand with premium live events." This logic is so fucking stupid. Can I just read you guys the minimum salary made on the main roster, if you don't mind? I'm pretty sure the majority of you are aware of this, but the main salary, yeah, right here. A new report from FIFO indicates that main roster talent in WWE are receiving around $350,000 per year. The report reveals that this is the minimum for stars on the main roster and that many superstars are making over $1 million. FIFO reports that 3 years ago, Triple H noted that the minimum for Raw and SmackDown stars was $250,000. In WWE, airfare is covered by the company, but hotels and rental cars aren't. The report noted that each worker's deal can look different from their peers. Yeah, that's kind of logical. It depends on what is your skill level. It depends on your longevity with the company. You know, there's a lot of things that you have to take into context, obviously, but yeah, that's just fucking logic. But hearing these people talk, like this last guy, who was essentially saying that, "Oh, well, guys, I don't think you understand this," without realizing NXT is WWE's third brand with PLEs. Yeah, that third brand with PLEs who are making under $350,000 a year, you know, those guys, yeah, them, because it doesn't mean you make exactly $30,000. It means the majority of them are making under $350,000, considering that's the starting point. Like, the logic, the fucking logic. But, and credit where credit is due, Bryan Alvarez did step in. Typically, I think he's a dork, but he's been on the, I'll give credit where credit is due. Buddy has been on a roll as of late. He had to debunk this point. He said, confirmed NXT deals start at $75,000. Though he noted that big name talent brought in from the outside obviously make more than that. He also dismissed the notion that anyone currently on the roster is earning an extremely low base salary, writing nobody is making $30,000. But I don't think it's in this post. Is it in this post right here? Yeah, it is. But I'll just break it down with a TLDR, right? Yes, there are talent who are making $30,000 a year on a developmental contract, no different than the NXT developmental contracts. But those people who are making $30,000 a year are typically people who are like in the ID program or shit like that. People who are legitimate fucking rookies. No background, who are not athletes, fucking rookies. People who, if they get the hang of it in a couple of months, will probably start doing jobs and dark matches on NXT. These are talents who are making $30,000 a year. As I said earlier on, we're talking about one step above apprenticeship. But they'll take this and they'll rage bait with it, and they'll say things like, well, these wrestlers, they're making less than minimum wage workers at McDonald's. I would hope so. I would hope that an assistant manager who is working for McDonald's is making more money than a fucking apprentice damn near in WWE, when there's no guarantee that you're going to be around long enough to make any of those high figures. And then I had one person who was pretty nice. He said something, because I did say something on this post, right? As a matter of fact, let me go to my own post just so I can keep everything into context. Because this guy did respond. Maybe I was a little bit too mean to him. I could have probably phrased that a little bit better. Hang on. Going to my comments really, really quick in real time. And I quote, I said, damn, scrolling back up again. Okay, 30K doing exactly what? Or doing what exactly? If you're a rookie jobber whose main job is training and doing jobs in dark matches on NXT once a month and making around $1,100 every 2 weeks, staying in one location to essentially train and exercise and learn the craft, where's the issue? And then this person said, there's no reason why I should be making more money per year than a WWE wrestler at my full-time retail job. Of which I said, if you're doing your full 40 at a decent retail compared to one step above an apprenticeship to have a chance to work for WWE full-time, yeah, that's a hell of a reason. Do you people read what you type? That's the part where I was a little bit too mean. But then this guy said, oh boss man doesn't let us get the full 40. I'm getting about 35. That's still fine too though. Regardless, the point is the person who is actually an apprentice at one job making a less than the person who is busting their ass at a retail job should absolutely make more money than the fucking apprentice at the other job, no matter what the job is. I don't want to hear any of that shit, because he did mention later on, oh, it's more physically taxing. Okay, it may be physically taxing to you, but it ain't physically taxing to anybody else who's working a 9 to 5, who's making more money than an apprentice in WWE. Like, you guys have no value of worth, and you don't take into consideration at all. You just look at the fucking title of the job and just assume that because that title is above that person's name, that automatically means they're granted special things compared to you and everybody else in your life. This is the kind of culture that breeds this nonsense, where apparently you can have a guy who's a doctor and a fireman and a police officer or a teacher who makes less money than fucking Justin Bieber. And I get it. Don't come at my head. I understand why the metrics work that way, right? You sign a contract, you are a star, you are making that amount of money, and therefore you are owed that because you are the person making that money. I get it. I understand. I'm just suggesting that the job in itself, seeing it per point of view, looking directly at the jobs and you putting them side by side, one job isn't owed. I get why they're getting that money, and hey, if that's the deal that they worked out, they deserve that money. But don't sit here and tell me just because this person is making this amount of money and you look at the title, that automatically means because of the stereotype of the title, they should be getting this much money, and therefore you, being this person, should be down here looking up at them saying, hey, why are you making that much more money than me? Oh wait, I'm sorry. No, I'm a fucking retard. Why are you making less money than me? Who does that? Who does that? Love yourself. Love your fucking self. They'll be okay. WWE superstars, LFG superstars, all these people who are making this amount of money, they'll be fucking okay. But it's just stupid. It's just such a retarded. So many people are arguing this right now. It's such a dumbass topic. It really, that really got me. I don't know why. I don't know. That triggered the fuck out of me though. You know, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was kind of wondering whether or not someone was gonna bring this up. I'll give my thoughts on it in a little bit, but let me read you this post real quick. I was wondering if someone was going to bring this up. This guy said, and mind you, this is somewhat of a viral post within the IWC. Not viral overall, but just within the IWC. Tony Khan should be ashamed of himself. Regardless of what Dave Meltzer tells him when he calls or how wrong they both seem to think Jim Cornette is, Jimmy would never allow this type of bullshit to take place ever. Seeing young athletic women blading too deep and pulling blood is not something that majority of sane people want to see. You can say it's for the sickos, but TBS and TNT need to step in for the mentally stable. TBS, TNT, is this what you stand for? Is this your programming? Better yet, Warner Brothers Discovery, HBO, Max, is this your view of women and what people want to see? Women gushing blood, hitting each other with the next available stupid thing. Clearly, Warner Brothers Discovery have different views of what women need to do to be considered entertaining than most civilized people. What a sick joke. Again, I was wondering whether or not people were gonna actually bring this point up, and you're gonna probably be shocked by what I'm gonna say. I wholeheartedly disagree with this entire fucking retarded ass statement. Not because I necessarily care to see the women bleed. I guess I can technically go without seeing that. But do you know how much you're operating on a slippery slope by essentially saying, hey guys, TV executives, look at these women being fucking retards and blading? Yeah, I can agree with the sentiments that they're retards and blading for the most stupidest shit, for talent that don't necessitate it, and for a match that shouldn't even be happening, that you're only doing because it's women. I get it. I understand your sentiments, but you're fucking with an avalanche. By just flicking a snowflake, you're fucking with an avalanche. Do not have these idiots from Warner Brothers or USA Network or Sci-Fi or UPN or MTV or UBB or UDD or DIC or SDD. Don't let any of these people stick their little grubby fucking hands on any wrestling program going on in the future. Okay, you got your little formats, you got your parental guidances and your restrictions and your FCCs and all this other shit. Let that shit go. Let that shit be. Let the fucking wrestling promoters operate within the rules that already exist as of right now. If they fail, they fail. You know how they fail? Because people look at this dumb shit and they laugh at this dumb shit. But at the same time, I would rather them laugh at the stupidity and the dumb shit decisions AEW makes than someone come out of nowhere and pull it off of television, and now the thing that I might like in the future, you just gave an incentive for them to want to pull it off because they did it for this. Don't do that. Don't incentivize people to do one thing. It's like the fucking political parties who always go back and forth and suggesting that I'm gonna do this thing, and then somebody else goes, well, when we get in power, we're gonna do this thing. Yeah, it might not affect you right away, but when they eventually come into power and they do the exact same thing you did, you're not gonna like it very much. Don't create that atmosphere. Don't do that. No, let the women be fucking morons and then just turn your fucking TV if you don't want to fucking watch it. Turn it off. Turn it off. But don't advocate for taking things off of television because you don't want to fucking see it. Turn your fucking channel. It's as simple as that. Or sit there and suffer like the rest of us and talk shit about it on your YouTube channel. But Jim Cornette did catch one of this, probably because the guy did tag him, and he got even more shit because he said, actually, I was more offended by the fact that the girls' match looked so fucking fake and stupid, silly than the blood, but that's just nitpicking since the bottom line is this garbage indie wrestling with a big budget because the kid billionaire has some cognitive shit going on. Which obviously got a bunch of people really, really pissed off at Jim Cornette. I'm not even going to go down the entire thread. I mean, It's a world, bro. It's a fucking world. You have people who are saying Jim Cornette is a piece of shit. He's yelling at the clouds. He's a misogynist. All these things, in some given way, shape, or form, happen to be absolutely true. Does take away from the sentiments of his comments as is, but they're saying that. And then you have people who are saying things like women are horrible, women are gross, women are this, women are that. In some cases can be true. In other cases, obviously we're on some Elliot Rodgers shit, right? So it is what it is. I just thought that entire thread was very interesting. More so because it's like, I don't know. I am kind of curious though. Can I get some of your opinions on seeing women bleed within professional wrestling? I think it's fine if it merits the situation. Like, obviously, if it happens accidentally, then that's another case. But if it merits it and you're purposely having a woman blade, people are like, whoa, Devontae, that's sexist to try to basically say that one situation is fine for the men and one situation is fine for the women. It's like these people play stupid on purpose. Like, clearly there's a difference between a man and a woman. I don't know why you guys are playing dumb. Like, it's no different than seeing a man dress up in a skirt or wear fingernails and stuff. No one is saying you can't do that. Like, they always act like someone is trying to take away their fucking livelihoods or their lifestyle. If you want to be a fucking degenerate, go be a fucking degenerate. No one's stopping you. But it's fucking weird. I don't know what you want me to say. It's fucking weird. You can live it. I ain't gonna stop you. I don't think there should be any laws against it, outside of the fact that you're not doing it within the vicinity of a fucking child. But if you want to be a fucking weirdo, go be a fucking weirdo. No one gives a shit, but it's fucking weirdo behavior. It's weird seeing men dress up in tutus with fingernail polish, acting all, feminine and shit. It's fucking weird. Not saying it's bad, but it's fucking weird. And then watching women with blood dripping off of their faces in a combat sport. It's fucking weird. Less weird than the men, but nonetheless, it's still fucking weird. And I think for me, it's like, I don't necessarily, hate the idea of women bleeding. It's already bad enough that people bleed so much as is, but it's just like, women now doing it. It's not even so much I advocate for women not bleeding as much as I feel like I'm advocating more for the presentation being even more watered down because the women can do it, right? And if they do it more on a consistent basis, it just even more devalues the aspect of bleeding when it trying to convey a story. It already took away, can you imagine if CM Punk and Drew McIntyre had their Hell in a Cell match last year, and the blood and the violence and the story was a billion times better than anything AEW's done in forever, but I can't help but say to myself that Hell in a Cell match was somewhat devalued. It's still an excellent match, still arguably the best match of the decade so far, but it would have been even more better if a company like AEW didn't exist, where they bleed so many fucking times that they harm other wrestling companies who are trying to use this as an aspect of storytelling, rather than just hey guys, look over here, look what we're doing. That's the shit that gets me. Not that the fact that the women are necessarily bleeding, but when done right, I think I'd be okay with it. But just the fact that the women are now starting to bleed outside of their bottom parts, that it just, I don't know, takes away even more from how effective blood can be in professional wrestling. I don't know. That's just me, though.
And it's really nice because I feel like more people who have credibility are really starting to speak up for me, because I know for so long, people are like, "Ugh, I don't want the trolls to come, at me online." So people just never really did. But I think people now are kind of like, the hate's so gross. Like, even some of the chants that I got last night, it's
okay, I thought I heard some chants I didn't like when I was watching.
But honestly, I think they got picked up more on TV or I was just too in my moment that I didn't even know. I didn't even hear it, to tell you the truth, till I think Mom told me.
No,
and then
Mom
I just
didn't know.
left.
I
No,
thought I heard it.
Mom. Oh, or then was it you? I don't know. Maybe it was you guys on the group text. But Boston's an amazing crowd. It was so fun.
No better crowd.
Yeah. But it's nice for these people with credibility that are speaking up, because I think at the end of the day, they all know. They all know how much I love this business, how much passion I have for wrestling. They know the work that I put in. It's not like I come on here and always say like, "Oh, when I had 2 days free where I didn't have my son, I flew to Orlando just to get in the ring for 5 hours to fly straight back." I don't talk about all that stuff all the time, but the people that know, and like, I truly love this business and I want to give it my all. And I really loved what Big E said because yeah, I don't I don't need to just sit around and always put people over. I know what I can do now. I know what my worth is. And you're
Oh,
going to start to hear it a lot more.
okay.
And so you'll wait for Monday for that. But what's nice is I haven't even said a word. And I love the recognition people are already giving if you've seen it on social media or to talent. And so, girl, that's all I'm going to say.
My God, the insecurity. Holy shit, you're a professional wrestler. Oh my God. Just fucking embrace it. I feel like she kinda was starting to understand the shit that she was saying out loud while recognizing that she's a fucking heel. You know what? Something else that kills me too. The amount of people over the last decade who I see say things like, oh, Brie Bella is the better of the Bella twins as far as attitude. Oh, she's more down to earth. She's more humble. All this other kind of shit. Every time I see Brie Bella, and mind you, I don't watch, the Bella Twins podcast or the E Show or Total Bellas or Total Divas. I've never kept up with any of that shit, right? But from my understanding, looking at how everybody was commenting, they were saying Brie Bella was, the more relaxed, chill one, right? Is it because she's a fucking hippie? Because that doesn't take away from the fact that she comes off like a huge fucking Karen every time I see her. I feel like Nikki Bella is way more likable than Brie Bella as far as attitude is considered. I may, find Brie to be more wifey material than Nikki Bella, but as far as attitude is considered, she comes off way more prudish than fucking Nikki Bella at the very least. And not that it matters, I hate both of them anyways. But regardless though, why are you guys talking as if you're not in the professional wrestling business? Huh? Did you hear Brie when she said that shit? I heard some things in the audience that I didn't like. Welcome to a fucking professional wrestling show. Oh, it's so gross that the people come after me like this. Well, now you're a fucking heel, so get used to it. And mind you, you were a heel prior to being a heel right now. You know what I'm saying? You know how that works? Do you understand? Do you get what I'm saying to you? You were already stemming off of this process a full ass decade ago. So how are you acting, or why are you complaining about getting hate right now? Is it because you view yourself as a legend because WWE gassed your ass up and put you in the Hall of Fame? And now all of a sudden, because you're in the Hall of Fame, and all of a sudden because you believe that you're a legend, you believe that you are owed respect? Now, I will give credit where credit is due. The Bellas have been in the wrestling business for 20 years now. Credit where credit is due as far as helping out the Divas. People don't want to say it. People don't want to say it. I will be the one to say it. They did. Now, they weren't the main catalyst like they like to believe themselves to be, but they were a huge proponent to bringing out the quote-unquote women's revolution. I mean, whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing, that is their contribution. It was them that got a lot of little girls to watch professional wrestling through the E! Network, that got them to segue and pipeline them into the WWE product. And then they probably disengaged with the Bella Twins and then watched the real women wrestle, right? And then they became professional wrestlers in themselves. But they came into professional wrestling. People downplay that shit. They came into professional wrestling through the Bella Twins. And I'm not going to downplay their success. In particular, Nikki. I'm not going to downplay what she has contributed to the wrestling business, because she absolutely has. That does not take away the fact that the fans have a certain viewpoint as far as how they see you. They see you as a bygone era. And you know this. I know she knows this. I know she understands this. They see you no different than the Kelly Kellys, than the Eve Torreses of the world, right? They see you no different than the all the other divas back then, all of them, right? I can't even think of all their names. Fucking all the ones that used to strip down to get naked and all that shit. Ashley Massaro, Who else out there? Christy Hammy, all of them, right? All of them. They see you no different than any of those divas. And here you have the divas nowadays who want to be athletic, they want to wrestle, they want to bleed out of other parts of their bodies. I made that joke twice. And they just feel that you don't fit that. Then you take into, obviously, the personal stuff with you and John Cena. And then they probably see your attitude on the Bella Twin show or whatever shit you starring on E. You are a very unlikable person, Nikki. You just are. That's just you. And then your fan base, who remind people of the wrestling equivalent of all those pop stars with their fan bases, like the Swifties or the Beyonce fans or the Nicki Minaj or Cardi B fans. Like, you just remind wrestling fans of that universe. You remind wrestling fans of the Kardashians. And people watch professional wrestling tend to want to get away from all that shit. And you bring that over. It's just so many things about you that is horribly unlikable. And quite frankly, I'm happy that you're a heel. You should never be a babyface. You should always be a fucking heel. And with that comes this. All of this this vitriol stuff. And if you can't handle that, then get the fuck out of the business, bro. That's just the way that it is. But I shouldn't even have to explain this because you've been in the business long enough to understand, and you should have been accepted that this was going to be the case. Suck it the fuck up, earn that money, and pay that man Artemis child support. I'm sorry, I had to get that in. But cut that shit out, man. You're a fucking wrestler. Boo fucking who. But let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below as far as how you felt about today's topics. How do you feel about Nikki Bella, wanting her cake and wanting to eat it too? How do you feel about Jim Cornette and him going after fucking people and women's wrestling? And on top of that, the guy who tweeted out that post about women bleeding. I need to hear your opinions in regards to that as well. How do you feel about Gigi Dolan and the 30K take? And how do you feel about MVP not willing to let it fucking go? He's just not willing to let it go. He's always going to be up Triple H's colon, and he's just not going to fucking let it go. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. My name is Millennial Smart, and I'll be catching you folks, please. Wait, did I say it backwards? I'll be catching you fine folks later. There you go. A deuces and a P. Ice.